Good evening, everyone. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterbox. Hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. I hope everyone is enjoying the elements. Guys, happy Thursday. Of course, guys, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video. Don't forget to put your notifications on, all that jazz. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you, everyone who's decided to join me today. Absolute legends. Thank you, guys. It is, guys, look, at the end of the day, been a little bit of a low-key week. Obviously, Man United are not playing until Monday, Tuesday for me, unfortunately. It's boring when Man United are not playing, to be honest. But one thing we can enjoy, obviously, is Arsenal tears. Look, as I said earlier, I don't want City to win the league, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a little bit of Arsenal tears. And I think Arsenal are the best at tears. They're the best at bottling things. And you have to laugh at the end of the day. You have to enjoy those little small gifts that you get, isn't it, at the end of the day? However, I don't want this to last forever because eventually I want Man United to challenge for league titles, and I want to, I wouldn't mind being where Arsenal are right now. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, challenging for league titles, and I guarantee you, Man United won't bottle it like as much as Arsenal have bottled it over the years in regards to their everlasting bottling. That's what Arsenal do, don't they? They bottle things. And yes, I've been laughing all day at some of the reactions. Of course, Turkish just completely losing his mind, forgetting what he's saying on camera and stuff like that. I mean, he said some really weird things on camera. I mean, if you look at it, you think, what the hell is that guy talking about? That guy better retract right now and stop talking. Sometimes, when you're annoyed and when you're angry and when you're disappointed, you say these weird things that, you're like, what am I talking about? You even say it in your head. What am I talking about? Shut up. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But yeah, guys, thank you everyone for joining me. Don't forget to smash a like on the video if you guys can do that for me. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Hope everyone's having a good time. Hope everyone's okay, guys. Thank you everyone who's decided to join me today. Of course, guys, let's get into a little bit news and transfer news surrounding Manchester United. And a little bit of some kind of exclusive in regards to Manchester United and their January window. Well, non-existent January window. Now, apparently, Manchester United were trying to sign a gentleman named Paul Imard. Paul Imard is a 18-year-old, 17-year-old, should I say, Saint Etienne central midfielder, CDM, plays for the France under-17s. He's valued about 200k. He plays for Saint Etienne in France. Now, Manchester United have made attempts to sign Paul Imard, in particular in January. Now, Manchester United seem to have come close to signing the 18-year-old France under-17 international, but did not get there. But Manchester United are still very interested in Paul Imard, Eymard, guys. I'm still very interested in Paul Imard. Valued at around 200k at the moment, not got a professional contract, to be honest with you. He's been playing for Saint Etienne B. And now, guys, look, this is another project sort of signing, isn't it? This is another one off the block, another signing that, is a future signing, and Man United being linked to him in January makes me laugh, really, because he still wouldn't have been able to walk into the team. He's very inexperienced and things like that. So you sign a Paul Imard in the January transfer window, it would have been ironic, innit, that he can't really play because he's not really got the experience. But Paul Imard is a very talented future player, guys. He has a good potential to be a good player. He is a midfielder. He is a CDM. And one thing about it, what it does seem to me is that Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe and all these guys are they're throwing a lot of things at a wall and hoping something sticks in regards to that midfield position. So they're throwing everything against the wall, hoping something sticks. And I think it's a bit desperate. I do. And I think they're just trying to look at every young player and hopefully that young player will become a very good young player and stuff like that, if you know what I mean. That's one thing I would say about it. And that's what they're doing. I believe that's what they're doing. I believe they're looking at every young player under the sun, and just like as I said, throwing everything against the wall, hoping something sticks. Of course, guys. But yeah, Paul Imard, Manchester United was Manchester United bound in January, but we didn't finalize the deal. But Manchester United is still interested in Paul Imard, of course, guys, and that's what the news is circulating around Manchester United at the moment in regards to that player. Now, one player who's a little bit more known, of course, is a player that Manchester United have been interested in before. The guy's name is Nico Williams of Athletic Bilbao. Now, I spoke about Nico Williams briefly this morning. Nico Williams wants to leave Athletic Bilbao and play in the Premier League. Now, this has alerted Manchester United in regards to a move for Nico Williams, which would set us back a lot of money. He is a 100 million valued player as well, guys. So, look, and also a position that, do we really need a Nico Williams? I don't know. Everyone needs a Nico Williams, maybe in their team. I don't know. But Nico Williams to Manchester United is a transfer that does seem a little bit unrealistic. But the fact that he wants to leave Athletic Bilbao, let's not get twisted, guys. You know, players who play for Athletic Bilbao. Athletic Bilbao, the only club in the world who the players that play for them are Basque players. They're Basque players. So they're basically from Bilbao. So every single player that plays for Bilbao is from Basque country. So basically the north of Spain, they're from there, from near Bilbao or in the Basque area. And they're the only team that do this. Ander Herrera, of course, signed for Manchester United from Athletic Bilbao, a Basque player, of course. And I felt like Ander Herrera is a little bit underrated when it comes to the greatest players to sign for Man United after Sir Alex Ferguson, right? I actually put Herrera in my team ahead of Pogba. I did, because I felt Herrera was more consistent. I felt he wore his heart on his sleeve and he fought for the badge. That's what I thought about that. You know, I felt that Ander Herrera was a great player, and you know, I have a good memory of Basque players who play for Bilbao. Nico Williams is a very good player. Nico Williams would be brilliant at Man United, of course he would be. But does it fix our problem? Does it fix the problem with the midfield? Does it fix the problem with the fullbacks? Does it fix the problem with the backup strikers in the squad? You know, I would class Nico Williams as like a luxury signing. I would. And once we got the midfield sorted out and all the positions that we need, then you go after a Nico Williams, for example. You know, and that's what I would say. Just like I spoke about this morning about Michael Elise, who's been scouted by Liverpool. Liverpool are earmarking Elise as a potential replacement for Mohamed Salah. So that obviously is something that has alerted Man United as well. And Man United are looking at Elise and thinking, yeah, Elise is that guy. Now, what I would say about that, again, excuse me, what I would say about that is basically, I don't want a situation where Man United are going after certain players because they are like shirt sellers. And I said that this morning. Certain players are shirt sellers, you know, and I can't help thinking that Man United are looking at more shirt sellers than actual players that are going to fit the team and do well for the team. Elise would be that, but Elise is a 150 million player. You know, Man United have shown no evidence that they're ever going to spend that amount of money on one player. And should we? We shouldn't really, should we? Man United need to build a squad. Man United need to build a team capable of challenging in the Champions League. That's what we need. We need the midfielders. Of course, we need another attacking player. We need more players. Of course we do. Nico Williams would be an absolutely fantastic signing for Manchester United. But as long as we get that midfield sorted out and we get the positions in our team that need to be sorted out first. It's all well and good getting certain players like the luxury players. It's all well and good getting that, but that doesn't fix our biggest problem. You know, I said it at the beginning of the season. If we fix that midfield, we would have been challenging for the league. It has nothing to do with Ruben Amorim. It has nothing to do with Michael Carrick. It has everything to do with the board. You know, if we fix that midfield, Man United will be challenging. When Ruben Amorim left, Man United were 3 points from fourth place. So at the end of the day, we were not that far away. We were not that far away. Things were not as bad as people would make you out to believe. They would make you believe that Man United were this far away. You know, absolutely not. Big up the community. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome aboard, of course, guys. Big up Ephraim. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, my friend, really, really good to see you. Now, a couple of players that do need to leave are Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. Now, Manchester United decided not to trigger a year extension in Jadon Sancho's contract, even though they could quite possibly get more money for him. Manchester United are going to release Jadon Sancho after his contract ends in the summer. So that would mean that no more Jadon Sancho. What do I think of this? I think that is a very, very good move for Man United. Man United need to do as much as possible to remove the bad eggs from the team. We don't want any more bad eggs walking into that football team again, guys. We've had enough of that. Let's be honest with ourselves. We've had enough with bad eggs at Manchester United. Let's be real, guys. And for me, Jadon Sancho has been an absolute flop, one of the biggest flops in Manchester United's history. By the way, I can't think of many players more floppier than him. How do you say it? More flopped than him at the end of the day. And Jadon Sancho has been a big flop at Manchester United. And good riddance, guys, to the bad rubbish. And I wish him all the best. And that's what I would say. The guy's been an absolute nightmare. And he will not be offered a new contract at Manchester United. Great news. Great news, of course, guys. Not offered a new contract at Man United. Love it. Absolutely do. Now, on the other hand, Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford is going to be a little bit more trickier. Now, I spoke earlier on about a potential swap deal between Marcus Rashford, Marc Casado, and Alexandro Balde, of course, guys, using Marcus Rashford as a pawn to get those players in. Now, I agree with that. I think that would be absolutely madness. That would be an absolute bomber for Man United if they managed to do one of those deals in regards to Alejandro Balde or Marc Casado from Barcelona. I think that would be a brilliant move and smart move for Manchester United. However, Manchester United are not looking like that. They're not really pushing. You know, if I was Manchester United right now, I'd be saying, okay, Barca, you don't want to pay the money for him, right? You don't want to pay the money. Okay, fair enough. Who can you do us a deal with? Who can you do us a deal with? Who can you give us that's going to help Manchester United? You know, and I would do this. And I don't know why we're not doing these kind of things. I don't know why we're not utilizing Marcus Rashford effectively to get other players in. Barcelona have quality. Alejandro Balde is a quality player, but Man United are looking to bid 40 million for Balde. And of course, Balde would be brilliant for Man United. We need the position as well, right back. We need that. Of course, we need that. So it will be a good signing for Manchester United. So will Marc Casado as a midfielder. So why don't Man United kill two birds with one stone? I don't understand it. And it just seems to me that it gives off the impression that they're reluctant to sell Marcus Rashford. They're reluctant to sell him. They don't want him to leave. And I think this is where we would go wrong, guys, because we need Rashford to leave. We need Sancho to leave. We need Rashford to leave as well. Manchester United need to move on from these players. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Big up, Ephraim. Yeah, I agree, Sal. We need to focus first on midfield positions. Absolutely. Sal, if we recruit well in the summer, I genuinely believe we can challenge for that. I agree as well. I agree with that. You know, I mean, it is mostly all down to the board and what they do. Man United are not that far away as people think, of course. We're so near, but yet so far, if you know what I mean, because Man United don't have the quality. And if Man United had the quality, i.e. the midfield was sorted out, Man United will be challenging a lot more potently this season. When you're looking at the league this season and you look at some of the draws we've had and the losses we've had, a lot of those wins and a lot of those losses and a lot of those draws would have been overturned if we had the right squad, if we had the midfield in there, etc., etc., etc. Unfortunately, we didn't, did we? And it's something that we predicted at the beginning of the season, that we didn't want to be in a position where we were like, you know, unfortunately, we're missing a midfielder and this and that. And we have been like that this season, because right now, of course, when you think about Casemiro and you think about these kind of players, you know, one injury, guys, and we are literally on a disaster. We're on an actual. It's actually like a really, really scary thought that Man United could possibly collapse if we had one injury in the midfield or a suspension, something like that. You know what I mean? And obviously we can't do nothing about that right now. We can't, and we're living on a prayer at the moment. Man United are basically living on a prayer. John Bon Jovi FC. That's what we are, living on a prayer. And if one of our players gets injured, it's sayonara tara, isn't it? At the end of the day, you know, you can't live life living on a prayer. You can't go game by game, hoping that one player won't get suspended, hoping one player won't get injured. Now, look, I would love to come on here and talk about how great Ugarte will be. Ugarte, don't worry, we've got Ugarte. Ugarte is a brilliant player. We could bring Ugarte in and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But, guys, I would say, in regards to that, Ugarte, I forgot. Sorry for Ugarte. I do. I feel sorry for Ugarte in many ways, guys. I feel sorry for him because obviously, you know, he is a good player, of course, but it's just not worked out for him. For whatever reason, it's not worked out for him, and that just happens in football sometimes. 50 million for Strand last and 30 million for Rashford is criminal. Yeah. This is the kind of reputation that we're giving ourselves, though, Geordie, isn't it? In regards to the board, in regards to how we've been run over the years. We've done it to ourselves. We've given ourselves this reputation that we can be stepped on in regards to the transfer market. You know, no player nowadays in the top division in England is worth 30 million. In regards to, they're worth more than that. I mean, I would urge anyone to find me a player who's on the caliber, like, for example, of Marcus Rashford, who's less than 50. You know, Marcus Rashford's 50 and above. We know that. But Barcelona are absolutely pulling our pants down here. They're absolutely mugging us off. But that's because of the way we've been run. If they can't afford the fee, then they can't afford the fee. That's it. But what Man United need to do, Man United need to say, okay, you can't afford the fee. That's fine. But we can give you Casado. We want Casado or we want Alejandro Balde. You know, that's what it is. And we can do that. Man United can do that. Man United have some strings in their bow. They have Marcus Rashford. You want Marcus Rashford, give us Casado or give us Alejandro Balde. That's what Man United can do if Barcelona don't want to pay the fee. Now, Barcelona are trying to luck. It's quite obvious they're trying to luck. They're trying to be cheeky. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to be rude and just say like, oh, we can't afford that. And they're pushing us, to be honest with you. And they're trying to say that they don't want to pay the money that was already agreed. So they're going against the agreement, so to speak. But Man United didn't budge from that. This is why this seems like Marcus Rashford is going to come back to Man United. And that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing because it's not just about Marcus Rashford, the player. It's about Marcus Rashford, the personality. Man United are in a period right now where we got good vibes, to be fair. We got good vibes, and the vibes have been good for a while now, and we don't need any more bad eggs back at Man United. But if the deal isn't done between Barcelona and Marcus Rashford will be coming back to Man United, and we're going to find it very hard to sell him. That's why I said do a swap deal. I thought Ugarte was going to be a beast. Seen loads of clips on YouTube. Seemed to be what we needed. He was Geordie. But sometimes when you move, it just doesn't work out. He had the best ball recoveries in Europe at one point. His statistics were absolutely phenomenal. And I think every single one of us, before he signed for Manchester United, were advocates for Ugarte. We were crying out for Ugarte. You remember? We were crying out for Ugarte. When we're going to sign Ugarte, he's perfect for Man United. We were showing clips of him and stuff like that. But sometimes, just like Juan Sebastian Veron back in the day, sometimes it just doesn't work out for whatever reason it is, whether it's the country, the atmosphere, the style of play, whatever it is. Man United haven't been a consistent unit anyway. Man United have changed managers various times, and that doesn't help either. Some players, what I would say about Man United is very important that you hit the ground running. It really is important, and that you need something to happen. Every time I see Ugarte playing for Man United, it seems like he has an adverse effect on the team. It seems like when he comes onto the pitch, we seem to decline. We seem to concede goals, and we seem to concede possession. I've never looked at Ugarte and thought, wow, what a challenge. Wow, what a header. What a clearance off the line. What a goal. I've never seen that yet. I haven't seen that yet. And it is so few and far between. And I really wanted him to show me something. Every time he comes on the pitch, I get a little bit of excitement. And the reason I get a little bit of excitement is because exactly that. We saw him before he came to Man United, and we're hoping that he rekindles a little bit of that form. But every time he comes on the pitch, it's like, what's going on? It's like a shell of the player that he was. I just don't think it's going to work out. I do believe that Ugarte will be gone in the summer. I think it's best for all parties that we part way. And hopefully we can make some money back for him. Sal, which player you think can replace Bruno if he can leave? I don't think you replace players in football. I don't think you can replace players in football. I think you have to find another type of player. You have to find another talented player. I don't think Bruno can ever be replaced in regards to that number 10. I still believe that Bruno Fernandes is the best number 10 in the world. He's not the best number 8, but definitely the best number 10 in the world. I would say that if I was to look at any player in Europe at the moment who I feel that can make a difference for Manchester United in regards to going forward, it'd probably be Kenan Yildiz for me. Players of that ilk, who plays for Juventus at the moment, guys. It'd probably be someone like that. Kenan Yildiz is absolutely phenomenal player and a very versatile player, someone that we can use, There is Rodrigo Moura, guys, who plays for Porto, another very, very talented attacking Portuguese player who plays for Porto. Absolutely brilliant player. He's another one I would look at as well. Someone of that ilk, and we can start building, for the future. Look, I do believe that Bruno will stay. I think it does depend on Man United qualify for the Champions League. If Man United qualify for the Champions League, I think Bruno will stay. If Man United don't qualify for the Champions League, I think Bruno will leave. But it does look like Man United are going to qualify for the Champions League. And if Bruno stays after this season, if we qualify for the Champions League, I think Bruno should just sign his career there. I think he should just end his career at Man United. I do think Bruno should end his career at Man United if we qualify for the Champions League. I really do. I don't think we're going to find much better in a number 10 position than Bruno Fernandes at the moment. I know he's on the other side of 30. This is why I don't think we can replace him. And I think if we can get a player in, for example, like I said, a Kenan Yildiz, maybe Bruno and Kenan Yildiz, for example. I know it's going to be difficult to get Kenan Yildiz. It's not going to be easy. But maybe if we can, like Bruno Fernandes can nurture Kenan Yildiz into the team. Maybe he can sort of slowly bed him into the team and stuff like that and slowly nurture him, so to speak. It does depend on Bruno Fernandes. I feel sorry for Bruno Fernandes. I do believe Bruno Fernandes deserves a Premier League title. I really do. I would have loved to see Bruno Fernandes lifting a Premier League title. You never know. It could happen next season. You never know. I do think there is a possibility. I don't think this league is as strong as people make it out to be. I think we're in a very good position, guys. Not a good position, but I think there's a very good chance for lots of teams to challenge for that league title, because I really don't believe that this league is very good. And look, you just need to, like, guys, you know, the league is better than most leagues in Europe. I understand that. But that just is an example of how poor football has become, how football has regressed, etc. You know, so I would say that I would love Bruno Fernandes to lift the title, you know, and can it happen? You never know. It might happen next season. It would be a great send-off, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Big up, Bobby. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Arsenal bottling again. Great to see. Look, you know, the funny thing is, though, look, you know, I've been watching all day. I've been seeing videos of Turkish, of Thai, of obviously all Arsenal fans, of lead judges and stuff like that. It is hilarious. You have to be honest with you. If you check out that Turkish interview, guys, the one from Turkish guys is so funny. He just got lost in his words and he said a whole lot of nonsense. It's ridiculous. You watch it, you think, oh my goodness me, what are you talking about, bruv? Be quiet. You know what I mean? He just, he goes, I'm gonna spread your legs and nut you or something like that. He said, oh my goodness me. The guy, football does it to you, doesn't it? At the end of the day, he just does make me laugh. Lee Judges getting angry as usual, gritting his teeth. And so I'm surprised Lee Judges has got any teeth left. The man, you fucking aren't you fucking You know what it reminds me of? When I used to live in East London, in the council estate in East London, and my mum used to shout from the balcony, "Shut your fucking head!" You remember those days? You know, those who know will know, right? When the lights used to go dim, because we used to play football till the lights went down back in the day, back in the old days. We used to play the football till the lights went down, and we used to get shouted at when we come home late, didn't we? Sal, I was excited when Ugarte did it. Sad it didn't why. Sal, isn't it? Sal Dalot, get Wesley. Wesley, yeah, good player. Yildiz is close to signing a contract extension. That's what I heard. Yeah, Jordy's close. Doesn't mean he's not going to sign away from Juventus. Sometimes players sign contracts based on stipulations. For example, he may sign a contract but has a release clause, or he may sign a contract, or for example, he has a stipulation in his contract that Man United come for him. He can go in a dream world, of course, but another thing that could be the reason is that Juventus might be looking for more money for him. That's it. And if anyone wants to go in for him. Look, I know it's unlikely that we're going to sign Kenan Yildiz anyway. I've said that already. Man United are aware of Kenan Yildiz. He's a fantastic player, but it's unlikely that Man United are going to sign him. He's wanted by a whole number of teams, including Liverpool, of course. But let's never say never in football. You never know. Players in the past have signed contracts and left the same season. Lee Judges is a classic, absolutely. Sal, I'm hearing Anthony Gordon is being considered as for left wing. Do you think about that? I think Anthony Gordon would be a brilliant signing for Man United. I hear a lot of nonsense that Anthony Gordon's overrated. I can't believe that what I'm hearing. When I hear these kind of things, I'm like, what are you talking about? Anthony Gordon's a class. He's a sort of winger that has been so little, so few and far between over the years. He's a very good winger. The problem is, though, let me tell you something about it, Metal. Anthony Gordon was looking to leave Newcastle United. The reason he's looking to leave Newcastle United is because he wants to play as a number 9. Now, if you watched the game yesterday against Karabag, he was playing as a number 9. Yeah, because that's what he wants to do. Me and you know that Anthony Gordon's a better left winger than anything else. He's not a number 9, innit? He ain't got the physicalities for that. But he wants to play number 9. And Man United don't need a number 9 like that. You know what I mean? Slices of Sim. Even though everyone is saying Arsenal are bottling again, I still think they will win the Premier League and another trophy, in my opinion. In your opinion, Slices, you're perfectly entitled to your opinion, but it is in Manchester City's hands now. If Manchester City win every single league, it doesn't matter what me or you think, they will win the league. If they win every single game. Now, they've turned it around to, I mean, guys, I would much rather be in Man City's hands. I'll be honest. I would much rather, and the reason is because they got the home game against Arsenal. They got a game in hand. They win that game in hand. They're 2 points. I just think that they're going to win it. They've got the experience. I just see them going from strength to strength. And guys, I don't want them to win it. I've said it. I don't want them to win it. I've said it. I don't want Man City getting another title. They're slowly creeping up on our 20 titles, and we don't want that to happen. And we Man City are direct rivals, and we have to forget about the banter between Arsenal and Man United fans, because at the end of the day, that's what it is, just banter. And I know that the Arsenal fans are absolutely unbearable. You can't tell me that. I know that. I'm from London. I know how bad Arsenal fans are. But we shouldn't want Man City to win the league. Yeah, we should prefer Arsenal. And that I absolutely concur with that. I think that as much as I dislike Arsenal, I hate City more. You know, City are for me. They're the second team I hate more. You know. None tonight, FCB, none tonight. There's only the Europa League, I think we've got, haven't we? I was going to do a watch-along between Fenerbahce and Nottingham Forest. Thought that would have been an interesting game, but yeah, not really going to be doing anything tonight. I'm going to wait till the weekend. I'm going to do some watch-alongs. I think we all do absolutely slice as a sieve. Metal, heads will roll if they drop points in the North London derby. It's going to be a classic Sunday. Now, look, guys, you got Tudor, of course, who is Igor Tudor, of course, ex-Juventus defender, legend, of course, guys, who's the new manager of Tottenham. So there's going to be that new manager bounces there. I think Arsenal are in problems. I actually think that this time, Arsenal will drop points. I actually think that. I think this time, Arsenal will drop points. I actually think they will. I really do. I think they'll drop points. I'm not sure who's playing at home. Is Arsenal or Spurs playing at home? Spurs have to. Look, it's about time Spurs did something against Arsenal, but I'm looking at it now. Let me see who's playing at home. So it's on Sunday, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. All right. Tottenham playing at home. Tottenham playing at home against Arsenal. So, yeah, that's a 4:30 kickoff for you guys. 8:30 for me. But if there's any time, I think that's the best time to play Arsenal, it's now. I actually think Arsenal in a bad way mentally. I actually think that. And I think it's going to be one of them things where, you know what? I mean, you know what I would love, guys? You know what I would love more than anything in the world? Arsenal and Man City capitulate and Man United win the league. Wouldn't that be fantastic, guys? You have to keep believing, don't you, at the end of the day? So I think City will win. I think City will win it. I do. I mean, I hope I'm proven wrong, but I think City will win the league. I do. I think they got the experience. You can already see the rumblings of Arsenal. The wheels are starting to fall off a little bit. Obviously, we had on the weekend, we had the Arteta situation where he didn't sign an autograph for that fan for his child and stuff like that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, these sort of things, these sort of news, they may seem like nothing at the time, but when you see this sort of news, right, it does add to the toxicity and the negativity. And I just think that Arsenal in a bad way. I do. I think Arsenal in a bad way. Look, guys, I know if Arsenal did win the league, right, I will congratulate them. That's what I would do. We're class at Man United. We will congratulate. Well done. I know that Ty will go off, but I don't think Ty is actually well upstairs. So at the end of the day, I don't really mind that. I do think that he's been exploited a little bit. But, you know, what I would say is that Man City will probably win the league. Man City fans will be smug again. And that's not what I want, to be honest with you, because Man City, right, let me tell you, there's not many of them. So you don't really see Man City fans a lot. You don't even see them on a good day at the Etihad, you know. So what I would say is that Man City, you don't see them much. But every little Man City fan that you see, every City fan that you see, these City fans are very, very implosive. They're very, very arrogant. They're very full of themselves. They're very smug. And you will see that if they win the league, you know. I'd rather Arsenal win the league, but the fans are so unbearable. It's that, Bobby. It's the same with me, bro. It's the same with me. I hate it. I was raised in London. I've given stories about my time in London, being raised in London with Arsenal fans all around me. You know, so I know exactly what Arsenal fans are all about, you know, and they are the worst in the world. They're the most unbearable fans in the world. I mean, I'm not exaggerating here. They are. There is no team on this planet that are worse than Arsenal fans, especially a successful Arsenal. You know, at the end of the day, you look at them. Now, you look at Arsenal and you look at their reaction yesterday, and some of them, obviously, Lee Judges was talking about, you know, Arteta and, you know, basically Arteta out. And you got the reactions and the meltdown is incredible. And it's the thing with Arsenal fans. They're not in between. They're always exaggerated. They're always over the top. Whether they're successful or whether they're not successful, they always jump and they're always over the top, you know. And that's one thing I would say. As I said, I've never had a compliment from an Arsenal fan about Man United. Never in my life has an Arsenal fan said to me, Man United are a brilliant team, even throughout our successful times when we became the best team in the world a couple of times. They've never come to me and said, you know what, Sal, Man United are brilliant. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, as I said, I've only witnessed one time in my whole entire life, which was my next door neighbor when we won the treble, you know? No problem, my friend. Big up yourself. Keep supporting the channel, my guy. Imandai would be a great player to our team, bro. So he's such a great player, as well as Mane. Yeah, Mateus Mane got assists yesterday, didn't he? Inday is very good. Watched him in the AFCON as well. A brilliant player. Played on that left-hand side. He can play there. And I think he'll be a brilliant signing for Man United, absolutely. But what we have to understand is that Man United don't really need that yet. Of course, that would be the icing on the cherry of the cake. When you think about Cunha and Bruno Fernandes, Shea Lacey and players, Ahmad, You know, we've got players in the attacking third. We need midfielders. I do believe in Dorgu as well. I do believe Dorgu will be a long-term left winger for Man United. I really do. I think when Dorgu doesn't play, Man United are worse. I think Dorgu has been brilliant. When he was playing on that left wing, I thought Dorgu was absolutely brilliant. I do. And I think that, you know, that game against Arsenal is phenomenal. And I think we got that bit covered there, I would say. I think it's just as long as Man United could fix those midfield positions, I think, you know, then we can move on to the luxury players, you know what I mean, that we've been talking about today. Nico Williams, Indai, of course, and stuff like that. Absolutely. I'm still holding Lamine Lamar to come to Man United as well. I don't know why Man United are not making a move for Lamine Kamara, of course, absolutely brilliant player, not going to cost a lot either. I don't know why Man United are not really pushing forward. Kondogbia, there's a few players that I like, guys. Lamine Kamara is one of them. Yavi Guerra is another one. Yorgiz is another one. Kone is another one. There's a few of them out there that I really admire, and I think they'll be brilliant for Man United. But the best player at the moment, I think, which will fix Man United, obviously Anderson and Angelo Stiller. Those two players there, I wouldn't go far away from doing that. Angelo Stiller's phenomenal. Angelo Stiller will become a world-class player, in my opinion. He's a new Toni Kroos. Not making moves, though, are we? I'm from Preston, so I don't get many Arsenal fans up here, but on Twitter, they are a nightmare. Bobby, I'll give you a story when I was supporting Man United. I was at school when Man United were winning everything during the 90s, early 90s, all the way up until 1998. I went to school. I'm showing my age a little bit here. And Man United used to win a lot of trophies. We won doubles and et cetera, et cetera. And I was always pretty humble. And I was always a guy that, wouldn't be smug, wouldn't rub it in, wouldn't be arrogant. But as soon as Arsenal won that title in 1998, they went overboard. They went overboard. Honestly, I can remember it like it's yesterday. Because I remember telling my friend, I said, he was an Arsenal fan, and I meant to tell him, mate, look, we won so many league titles, mate. You fluke a league title, and then here you go. You're just overreacting. You're going over the top. Man United shit, Man United this, Man United that. Next season we'll win the treble anyway. At the end of the day. But it just gave them an idea what Arsenal fans are when they're successful. They're still going on about the invincible, of course, which in my opinion was the most ridiculous thing ever. Drawing about 16 games, losing to Chelsea in the Champions League, losing to Man United in the FA Cup. Very invincible. At the end of the day. So what I would say is that I totally understand, Bobby, on this one. I understand it. But my biggest fear is this. I don't want a resurgent Man City. I want Man City to decline. I know if Arsenal won the league, I know that Arsenal won't go far. I know that they won't carry it on. I know that. I know that a lot of players will probably leave, But a resurgent Man City is not what we need. And we don't want Man City going on another run. They're getting closer to our tally of 20 titles. And I don't want them to, So the more Man City are down, the better. I can ignore the Arsenal fans. I can just silence my social media and stuff like that. Great. I can do that. But at the end of the day, Man City winning the league. It's just what disappoints me, Bobby. It's just that I never wanted to be in this position. I didn't want to be in this position. I'm so annoyed that we're still in this position and we're still having preferences of who Arsenal will win or Man City. I just want it to be Man United, for crying out loud. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to have to be hoping that someone loses, someone who I prefer, someone whose fans are less bearable. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. Ephraim, Sal, if Arsenal do not win the league, do you think he will be sacked? No. And I don't think he should be sacked. I think he's done very well at Arsenal. He's a young manager and he will get better. I know he's unbearable. I know he's arrogant. I know he's Lego man and all that. And I know he bottles it. And I know he likes light bulbs and things like that. But what I would say about Arteta is that, sometimes in football, you have to be careful what you wish for. And I think Arsenal have to be careful what they wish for. If they get rid of Arteta, they think it's going to be better. I don't think so. They've had Unai Emery, for goodness sake, I think he's changed Arsenal. I think he's, revolutionized Arsenal. In a way, one thing I would say is that I would edge away, if I was Arteta, I would edge away from this long throw business, free kick business, stinking football, haram football business. I would step away from that. And because 2 years ago, Arsenal were playing very good football. I was actually applauding the way they were playing football. They're playing brilliant football. Now they've gone backwards somewhat. And I want to know why they've done that. It's weird. You can play like that. Don't get me wrong. There are ways. There's more ways to skin a cat. There's one ways to win football matches, and that is one way to win a football match. Man United used to do that a lot. Hoof the ball into the box. You know what I mean? We used to do that when we were losing a game. Champions League final, for example, we won the treble on that. But one thing you got to do, you got to have a way of playing as well. You got to play football as well. I just don't think Arsenal play football. I think they've gone away from playing football, and I think this has harmed them. You know, absolutely. I got you. Ephraim, big up Ephraim. It's snowing in England. Well. My goodness me. True Anderson, still and Baleba should be our top targets. I mean, Baleba, no. Slice of sip. I don't rate Baleba anymore. I don't. I think he's got talent. I just don't think he's the right guy for Man United. He's not. And I don't think people should be even looking at him now. He's not performed for nearly a year. You know, he's getting hooked off the pitch at 20 minutes. Man United don't need this. Yeah, Man United could bring him in and he could slowly improve. But Man United don't need that. Man United need players who are going to come into that football team and press play and play. Baleba is not that guy. There's actually better players who play for Cameroon than Baleba. You know, and I'm being honest. I'm not being rude to him and stuff like that. But I was a big fan of his, and he's not played at all well. And the odd touch here and there probably, but nothing to say that he's going to be a revolutionary sign in Man United's midfield. What he's showing me is a lack of mentality. That's what it is. And Man United right now need mentality monsters. That's what we need. And Anderson is one of them. And Wharton is one of them. And Stiller is another one of them. You know, those players there are mentality monsters. That no matter who's interested in them, who's linked to them, they carry on playing, they carry on performing for their club and their country. And that's what it is at the end of the day. But Baleba has showed me nothing in the last 6 months to tell me, yeah, he's the guy for us. And every time I watch a game, I'm hoping that Baleba does well. But what I would say is that Baleba's desperate to come to Manchester United. I said it a few months ago about Baleba and his entourage meeting up with the Man United representatives at the end of October. And they had an agreement with Baleba that, you know what, Man United, and yeah, he wants to go to Man United eventually. Once they agree a fee with Brighton, they're going to get Baleba and stuff like that. But this was obviously dependent on Baleba himself as well. This was dependent on Baleba's performances, right, for Brighton. And Man United are second guessing now on whether to get the Baleba over the line. Now, there is other teams who are sort of hinting about Baleba, looking at him slightly. Bayern was one of them, but Bayern stepped away from Baleba. Didn't think he was good enough. So why should he be good enough for Man United? Another one is PSG are looking at him at the moment, and Chelsea now. And for me, if Brighton sell Baleba for about 40 million euros, something like that, I would say risk it. But they're not. They're going to ask for 65, 70. And I think that could buy Anderson. And I don't think we should do that. I know. Ideally, we would like to get both of them. We'd like to get Anderson, Stiller, Baleba, all of them. But if it's out of Stiller, Anderson, Wharton, it's them three ahead of Baleba. Kone's ahead of Baleba. You know, for me, there's lots of players out there ahead of Baleba at the moment. You know, Slices a sip. Arsenal are true losers, man. They know it. Well, absolutely. Let's see what happens at the end of the day, at the end of the season, of course. Hey, big up, Georges. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. If we want to progress as a club and challenge, we need to think like, will these players make us better? And not these players will do a job. Exactly that. Too many players just do the job. Exact. Good comment, Georges. I agree with you, man. Absolutely. It's exactly what I said this morning about players coming into the team. Press play, they play. They play. They're good and they help Man United. Not players who do a job. Exactly. I agree. We shouldn't be looking at players to do a job. We should be looking at players that are going to help Man United challenge for a league title. You know what I mean? Because that's where Man United should be. Man United should be challenging for league titles. Man United should be challenging for Champions Leagues. That's what Man United need to be. We can't be like, oh, you know what? Let's just sign him because, you know what? He's fitting in the gap. You know, he's young and he's fitting in the gap. You can have those sort of players on the bench. But the first team for Man United, like I've always said, you know, in football, you need a spine, a world-class spine. If you want to win leagues, you want to win Champions Leagues, you got to have a world-class spine. We don't. We have a good one, but our midfield is bare, you know, and I think that we definitely need to bring in proper players, absolutely. The Invincibles, what about did they win? Exactly. Draw. Exactly. I've been saying it for years and years. How long have I been saying it now? 22 years? The Invincibles that they're still going on about, I've been saying it for 22 years. What were you invincible of? We won a treble. And you know what? You know, I heard the funniest thing I've ever heard. An Arsenal fan said on TikTok, right? He said Man United fans would secretly swap the Invincible season for the Champions League treble. I'm like, my God, this guy is so delusional. I mean, and this is exactly why people don't like Arsenal fans. The reason people don't like Arsenal fans is just because of that comment right there. Secretly, Man United would prefer the Invincible season than their treble season. I'm like, my God. 99.999999999% of the fans about Man United would prefer a treble to the Invincible season, your little silly little golden trophy. You know what I mean? No one cares about that. Egotistical records don't mean nothing. And that's what it was. Invincible season was great. Well done. You were undefeated in the league. I can't argue with that. Brilliant. But that was a vanity thing. Every single serious club in the world would prefer a treble. That's what they would do. Every serious team in the world. Do you think Man City would prefer an Invincible season to a treble? They want a treble. Inter Milan would prefer their treble. Barcelona would prefer their treble. PSG would prefer their treble. No one cares about those little ego teams because you are unbeaten against the likes of Coventry City and Portsmouth. No one cares about that. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's all about what you do in Europe as well. You know what I mean? Bobby, they'll have to make a runners-up cut for Arsenal. They probably do. They probably get a new trophy for them. That's what they do, isn't it? You know, that's what Arsenal do. So it's amazing that Boulder Glimt slapped City, Atletico, and Inter. That's what we're talking about here. Boulder Glimt have a team. They have a team ethic. They have balance. And that's what we're talking. You don't necessarily have to have the best players in the world. If you've got balance, if you've got belief, and if everyone's on the same page, you know, you'll get somewhere. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Congratulations to them. Belabor is a huge referee. We need mentality players. Absolutely. Absolutely. Could he be doing this purpose? Do you think he's feeling the pressure? If he's doing it by purpose, it doubles down on why we shouldn't sign him. 100% no. Because if you're down tooling on purpose because you didn't get your move, why didn't you speak out? Why didn't you speak out about the move? Why didn't you say, I want to move to Man United? He didn't, not once. And I know that for a fact, right? So why didn't he speak out? If he's down tooling by purpose at Brighton, he's not the guy for Man United. We don't want him. No, because we want players who play. We want players who are professional. We don't want players who down tool because they're throwing their rattles out there, Pram. You know? And if he's feeling the pressure, then he's not right for Man United. It's as simple as that. We have to be like this. We have to be ruthless. We have to be. As much as we like Belabor, I was a Belabor. I was singing on this show. People know me from the beginning. I was singing Belabor. I'm a Belabor. But this guy, I'm definitely not a Belabor this time, man. Definitely not. I'm more of a bloody Justin Belabor than I am a Carlos Belabor. I'm telling you that right now. He's not doing it. You know what I mean? And I think we have to hold it objectively, and we have to look at things maturely and think, even though we like him, it's not working out, bruv. You know, and I think we have to do that, you know, unfortunately. Big up, Boy. What's going on, my friend? We're doing well. Big up, Sal. What's going on? The emergency meeting was sensational. Big up, my friend. How you doing? I mean, big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. It was brilliant. Big up yourself, Kenny. What do you think about the Arsenal bottle job? I think it's not a surprise for me, mate. You know, potatoes will potato, tomatoes will tomato. That's what happens, man. And that's Arsenal. Arsenal, they're king bottlers, isn't it? So at the end of the day, it's no surprise to me. Hello, United Blanco. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. The Invincibles had more losses than United's treble season. Exactly that. So let me tell you something, Roy, right? And let me tell the community, right? When Man United won the treble in 1999, we didn't lose a game. Did we get a golden trophy for that? For not losing in the Champions League? Do we get a golden trophy for not losing in the Champions League in 2008? Do we get a little golden trophy for that as well? We were undefeated in that as well, you know. But no, we don't get a golden trophy for that, do they? Because they only make it up because Arsenal tried to justify why Arsenal are something they're not. Who remembers when Bodo beaten Real Madrid? Big up, my friend. Bodo done very well, guys. Bodo done very well. I'm going to do it FCB at the moment. I'm having problems with my mods at the moment, so I'm going to try and sort that out after. Bear with me. Be patient. I will get it sorted out, definitely. My mods have got a problem. Yeah, so YouTube's not allowing me to do mods at the moment, but I will get that sorted out. I will 100% get that sorted out. But, yeah, what I would say is this, right? In regards to that Arsenal, is I just think that Arsenal, they need to learn from their lessons. You know, they need to learn from the past. They need to look at the past and learn from it. I really do. Because one thing I've noticed about Arsenal fans, their logic is raising their voice. That's it. Their logic is trying to be self-righteous about football. Their logic is trying to, tell Man United fans, we drew against West Ham and we shouldn't be disappointed with that. That's their logic. Man United will never be Arsenal. Arsenal will never be Man United. Man United will always be a bigger club than Arsenal, will always be more successful than Arsenal. Man United will always be more respected in Europe than Arsenal. No matter, we can go 50 years without winning anything. We'll still be there. And I will say that absolutely. What happened to Judge Mo? What happened to my bro? What happened to him? I know that he was he was into Milan, got slapped up. I know that. So sad. I mean, that happens in football, though. They're going to win the league in Serie A, so they'll be all right. Arsenal need a change, a manager change. You think? I don't think so. I don't. I think he's the right man for Arsenal. I don't think anyone's going to bring that Arsenal team to where they want to be. I don't. I think Arteta's that right guy. He's a young manager. He will get better. And that's it. Arsenal will come close a couple of times. I think that they won't sack him, and I don't think they should. I really don't. I don't think they should sack Arteta, no. I think it would be the wrong thing for them to do. 40-year-old manager. He's 40, for goodness sake, And he's doing very well with them. He's actually, look, guys, let me just be honest about Arsenal at the moment. He's actually revolutionized Arsenal. Arsenal were the banter team before Arteta walked in. They were the banter team. I know they're banter. I know we banter them now and stuff like that. But that's because they're actually doing bits. However, if Arsenal don't win a trophy this year, you have to start looking at things seriously, yes. But I do see a talented manager in Arteta. I don't like Arteta, but I see a talented manager. And I think there's a couple of tweaks here and there that he will become. And I don't like Arsenal, guys. And I don't want, this to be me praising Arsenal, because I don't live off Arsenal's backside like some. So, but what I would say is this, right? I think that Arteta's going to be a very good manager. I don't think he's the finished article. I don't think he's the finished article. I really don't. Big up. So I said, big up. Tell me one player in Arsenal team who won significant trophy. They don't have the experience. I agree with that. United Blanco, that's a big problem as well. They don't have the experience. No, I think they've got Declan Rice who won the Conference League. Jesus won the Premier League with Arsenal, of course. Let's not forget that. Anyone else? Not really. Has Martinelli won anything with Brazil? No. Not really. Saka's won an FA Cup. Because your chat needs someone. My chat is the best, FCB. Don't worry about my chat. Arteta is very young. Yes, he is. He is very young. Yes. And I would still give him a chance myself. Sal, do you think Arsenal have many leaders in their team? Declan Rice, probably one. That's about it. But then again, is Declan Rice an overhyped leader? Is he overhyped as a captain? I think Saliba's a leader, but I think Harry Maguire ruined Saliba last week. I mean, a few weeks ago when we beat Arsenal at the Emirates, look at Harry Maguire absolutely destroyed him, didn't he, in that game? Arsenal have United and Liverpool's fans rooting for City for the title. That's how unbearable they are. Yeah, I mean, they are unbearable, man. I can't deny that. So I know they were the banter team, but they transitioned well, and they need a winner with a big trophy winning manager. Hungry. It doesn't matter who they get. They've had Unai Emery. They don't need anyone. They will go back to default settings if they get rid of Arteta. The reason they're doing well now is because of Arteta, and we have to be fair. We have to be educated in regards to football. We have to show a little bit of IQ, United Blanco. Arteta is not the problem at Arsenal. Arsenal are a few players away from actually challenging. They've made bad signings. I agree with that. But I think they're actually a few players away. They are top of the league, mate. Under any other manager, who's going to go to Arsenal and win anything? Who? There's no one out there. Let's be real, guys. We have to look at things just because we don't like Arteta. He's a bad manager. He's not a bad manager. He's 14 years old. 40 years old. 40 years old. All right, and he's transformed Arsenal. He transformed Arsenal. I don't think changing the manager at Arsenal is the problem. Saying that buzzwords and like, oh, you know, they need a winner. What does that mean? Man United needed a winner. Man United had Jose Mourinho was shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So I don't think it's that. There were 4 trophies, you know. Grabio for me. Big up, Kenny. Jesus is a shadow himself in 2022. Big up, Mandem. How you doing? Large up, Sal. What, oh, man, asking about your chat. He was just joking, Mandem. Just joking. He wants to become a mod and stuff like that. But I'm not doing mods at the moment because I've got a couple of things I need to sort out on my channel and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on your Keres? Wrong team for him. The way Arsenal play doesn't get enough crosses in the box. You know what I mean? And Arsenal don't get enough crosses in the box. And I think this is why Saka doesn't get any assists. And I think that a player like your Keres needs a player that can get the ball in the box. And one thing is, guys, this is another thing. People think that just because he done well under Amorim, your Keres is going to do well for Arsenal. Maybe it was Amorim who made him into that player. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Mandem. Also, people, let's get the lights up and kindly subscribe to New Mandem. You're a legend, my friend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you supporting the channel, my friend. You're absolute diamond, mate. Absolutely. Thank you so much, man. Declan is a leader in what aspect? I really don't feel that a leader or a player who can add some sort of X factor in that team. It's one-dimensional. Declan's a very good player. That's why he's nominated for Ballon d'Or. He's a very good player. And is he a leader? I don't know. I don't know him. However, I would say that he led West Ham to European trophy. And that's no mean feat, beating Fiorentina in the final. So I would say that he's got potential to be a leader. He's got characteristics to be a leader. And that's it. But in football, you need 11 leaders. You need not just one. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Roy, I think it's over for Arsenal. This City team reminds me of 2022-23 when they moved like a tortoise in the first half of the season. But when others mess up, they are unstoppable, kind of like a snout. Roy, the only team that can compete with Man City, and let me tell you this right now, consistently, I'm talking about, is a good Manchester United. Is a good Manchester United. You know? That's it. This is the only team that can actually push Man City consistently, you know? What is this hatred towards Jude Bellingham, bro? It looks I missed something. I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I mean, a lot of people are talking about his attitude, but I don't really care about that. I mean, great players are always going to have an element of ego. That's life, you know? I don't know why people are so infatuated and obsessed with people's attitude, you know? Great players have always had attitude. As far as I'm aware, you know, everyone's got a bit of an attitude. Cantona had an attitude. Cantona was arrogant. You know, you can go on and on about that, but great players are always going to be like that. I have nothing but respect for Jude Bellingham, you know. Jude Bellingham will be a fabulous player. He is a brilliant player and he needs our support, especially me as an Englishman, supporting England. I support Jude Bellingham, so I think Jude Bellingham is world class. Now, anyone hating on Jude Bellingham has just got a problem. Man, that guy has gone to Real Madrid and absolutely smashed it. You've seen his record. You know, at the end of the day, a kid, right? This kid could have easily done a comfortable thing when he was playing for Birmingham, right? He could have done the easy thing and went to a Premier League club, you know? But he went to Dortmund. He went to Dortmund and he went there and he proved himself. Then he left Dortmund and he could have went back to the Premier League. He didn't. He went to Real Madrid. And that's what you have. And that's the respect we have to have at the end of the day. Big up Slices to Sib. Bellingham at the World Cup. He will be at the World Cup, definitely. I mean, I hope Kobe Mainoo is at the World Cup. I do hope so. I think he's the only player in the England squad who plays like that sort of type of play. I think England need to drop Jude Bellingham to Henderson. England need to drop Henderson for me. They need to get rid of him. Georges, Sal, do you think the board have learned their lesson and will finally address all the positions in the summer? We all seen 1-2 transfer away. Can I be honest with you, Georges? I don't think they will, no. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be totally honest with you. With all the players that we're linked with, I don't think they will do the business. I don't think we're going to end this transfer window, given that there's a World Cup as well going on. I don't think we're going to end this transfer window in summer and look at it and think, what a summer. I don't think we're going to do that. I think we're going to be disappointed. I honestly think that. This summer, we had a 4 out of 10 window. I think we're going to have something similar. I think we'll sign about 3 players, and I think that'll be it. We'll lose a lot of players. We'll lose Casemiro, we'll lose Ugarte, we'll probably lose Mason Mount, lose a couple of more players, Onana and stuff like that. But I don't think they'll do the business to the level that they should. All the credit to City's title should go to Pep, world class, even at 20. Pep is a world class manager. He's obviously he's good at the team he is because they've got money. He's always been good at teams that had money, and that's what I would say. You know, at the end of the day, you know, guys, and I would say that. At the end of the day, he is a team that is good at having money. I would love to see Pep manage a small team. I would love to see Pep manage a team like how would I say it? Like Jose Mourinho did, and he got Inter Milan to treble. You know what I mean? And he got Porto the Champions League, and that sort of guy. You know what I mean? I like to see him do that. You know, with a team without money, I really would. You know, at the end of the day, I really would. Guys, they are pretending to learn a lesson for more than that. Who's that, Blanco? I don't know what you mean. You do not think we are getting at least 4 new signings this summer? If not, United are a must have serious action against Ineos and the Glazers. The problem is, Man United can get 4 players, but Man United are going to lose more than 4 players. It's the problem, right? Last year we lost to Varane and Lindelof. They were never replaced, right? In the summer, we're going to lose Rasmus, Sancho, Rashford, Casemiro, probably Ugarte, probably Mason Mount as well. That's 6 players off the cuff already, right? And then obviously we might lose maybe another 1 or 2 players here and there as well. Then you have to think about injury records and things like that. So what we have to look at is that Man United ideally need 8 players, roughly. Because if we're going to be in the Champions League, we need a squad. We need a proper squad. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we need a proper squad. You know, we do, at the end of the day. Buying 4 players, even 4 players slices of SIB, right, is not enough. It's not enough for Man United. Even if they are 4 very good players, if we went out there and signed Anderson and Stiller, and let's say we signed an attacker like Nico Williams and a fullback like DiMarco, that would be brilliant. Of course it would be. But that still is not good enough for the squad. Man United need a proper squad, a proper rebuild. And it seems like exactly what you said. We don't do it. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. FC. That's what it is, I mean, we don't ever finish the job. True, but I don't see Ineos getting 8 players. No, I don't see it either, Slice of Sib. I'd be very surprised. Sal, and we're not even saying get 8 world-class players. We're saying get a few world-class players in the team, 4 or 5, and then fill it up with prospects. For example, Mateus Mane and Bawardi and Said El Mala and these type of players. Do you know what I mean? Rodrigo Mora and you fill it up with upcoming players and you get a few world-class players, and that's what we need. Yeah. So why they always spend more when they are not in the Champions League? Because they want to get in the Champions League, get the money for the Champions League, and then want to maintain it. So they want to spend all the money to get in the Champions League, get that 100 million for the Champions League, and then want to do the bare minimum to maintain it. Because they don't. Let me tell you something. They're not interested in Man United being successful on the pitch. Absolutely not. They're not interested in Man United being successful on the pitch. They're interested in Man United qualifying for the Champions League. And this is where Arsenal were going wrong for so many years before Arteta, when they became a top 4 side. And they were just happy to qualify for the top 4. They were just happy to get that money in the bank. And that was it. And I think this is what they are. They want to do the bare minimum for the maximum. And anything that happens extra is a bonus. They should be religiously concentrating on Man United winning trophies. That's what they should be. That is what Man United should be. They should be religiously, let's challenge for trophies. That's what they should be. And they're not that, unfortunately. And they don't give me any vibe that they are ever going to be that, to be honest, guys. Absolutely not. So I would say that this is exactly what they are at the end of the day. And that's if Jim Ratcliffe will stay until the end of the season. Of course, there's going to be problems with him. There's obviously, questions about what he said about the politics and stuff like that. And obviously the FA are looking to see if he brought the game into disrepute, which he did, in my opinion. If the government do help Ineos and the Glazers to help with the stadium rebuild, maybe the government will have shares and leverage to get the Glazers and Ineos out when the time is right. I doubt it, mate. No. This will be theirs. This will be the Glazers. This will be a signal for Glazers to be here for another 10 years. Minimum. Let me tell you that right now. They would not get rid of them. This will be a deal between the Glazers and the government, and they will be here for a very, very long time. If they get this regeneration project done, this is why the Glazers sent a letter to the Manchester Council in 2017 about getting this regeneration project. This happens, we're stuck. We're stuck, And that's what it is, because now then they've got the finances to maintain themselves, to stay, and it's sad, at the end of the day, Yeah. So At the end of the day, Manchester Council, so basically what Manchester United want to do, they want to profit like Manchester City did. Manchester City were given a stadium from the government, basically, after the Commonwealth Games. They gave them the city of Manchester. The Etihad Stadium was given to Manchester City. So basically, this is what they're looking at, the Glazers, and they're going to try and own that land, which is going to be paid by the taxpayers. And they're going to obviously build a stadium, and they're going to get funded by the taxpayers, and they're going to pay some of their own money, a little bit, probably taken out of the club, by the way. And then they're going to get hotels and franchises and things like that to make more money, And this is the awful thing about it. Absolutely. So will the government have shares of United or not? No, not that I'm aware of. The Glazers own over 50%, don't they? So yeah, and obviously, there's all scattering out of owners who own 5%, who own 10%. Those guys will be gone if the Glazers sell. They'll be gone. It doesn't really matter. All that matters ultimately is that the Glazers sell. If the Glazers sell, then many people will be forced to sell their shares at Manchester United. And that's what it is. They'll be forced to sell their shares. That's what it is. There are a number of people, like, for example, who own 5%, 2%, 3%, and things like that at the football club. There are a number of people who own that. And that doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter, because I know there's lots of people who do that. And if the Glazers sell, they have to sell anyway. So it doesn't really matter what is, what isn't, and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter, and I would say that the most important thing for us is for Manchester United to get the Glazers out and get Ineos out. And then once they're out, we don't have to worry about the people that own the football club 5% or own the football club 10%. It doesn't really matter, because they'll be gone anyway. Absolutely, in my opinion. Who is the Class A shareholder who owns 5% share? Leon Cooperman. Leon Cooperman, mate. He's an Amiga advisor. Have a great day. Have a great night, Ephraim. Big up yourself. Have a good one. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. But it doesn't really matter about who owns 5%, really. All that matters is now is that the Glazers lead the football club. I don't really care about the Americans who own this and own that, So that's just it, isn't it? So basically, when you look at Man United are the Class A shares of Man United. They've got a few of them. They've got Ariel Investments, LLC, and they've got obviously Jim Ratcliffe and that. Lindsay Train Limited. They've got that. There's lots of things. So each one of these own 5%, 6%, and that. And obviously, Jim Ratcliffe and co own about 27%. So there you go, guys. A little bit of knowledge. This is why the Glazers need to go, United Blanco. Once the Glazers go, that's fine. But we need to stop Americans taking charge of our football club, taking money from the football club. And that's what we need to do. Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much. Really appreciate you all. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video on the way out, guys. If you could do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to put your notifications as well, guys. Absolute legends. Great chat, of course, as always. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Guys, see you tomorrow. Have a good night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Chatterbox. See you soon, guys. Have a good night. Peace.